Choo, 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 choo. Choo, 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 choo. Wow. My goodness. uh, what in the world? I don't know. Uh, yeah. Anyway, bum bum. It is pretty sure it's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Yeah. And it's Friday, March. March 28th AD 2025, everybody. And we're going to have a fun loosey-goosey Friday show. Hello, yeah, mum. Hello, imperfect citizen. You know, CNN still can't let go of the Yemen group chat. The group chat about Yemen. It's so silly. It's so ridiculous. Ridiculous. There's a lot of news, actually. We have Fob Friday coming up. A great song for you guys from Jackie or Andy or somebody. Where did it go? Did you give me like a third screen? I don't know. Oh, cool. Oh, we just have to deal with it. Okay.
It's just big now.
All right. Nice. All right. Well, that's even cooler. Kind of. Look at that. Wow. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Wow. I feel like I have more room now. Hopefully my trackpad works so I can zoom in. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, pardon me. Complicated business, folks. Complicated business. I will take your calls 1-888-775-3773. I will. Well, I shouldn't promise. I don't make promises. But what else? What stuff is going on in the world? Myanmar. It's not Myanmar. It's Myanmar. Something like that. Had an earthquake. It was felt in Thailand. A a skyscraper in the making collapsed. Oh my goodness. I need to start my punchy.tv/Hake. It did. It collapsed. Somebody died. Maybe multiple people died. So pray for those. What is that? Southeast Asia? Doesn't that sound sort of like probably Southeast Asia? Whatever that thing is. And other stuff going on in the world. Thank you, Jesse Lee Peterson, raiding the stream over on rumble.com/The Hake Report. Very kind. Much appreciated. Thank you to Gregatron and others who have super chatted already. That's cool. I do plan to get to your super chats. It's crazy, you know? It's so crazy. It's so crazy that I don't know. Who cares? Just throw up your hands and say, who cares? 7.7 earthquake, maybe thousands of people dead, says Potleaf. In Thailand, it was felt in Thailand. 7.7 was in Myanmar, I heard. But it was felt in Thailand. And then it can kill everybody everywhere. Myanmar has that civil war going on, and they're poor, and so they probably don't have tall buildings to kill people, right? Short buildings can kill too, though, if they're not built well. So, what a mess. What a mess. Actually, a lot of stuff going on. So we'll get to it. I did want to talk about a federal employee who supposedly voted for Trump. Maybe they did, right? Who cares? Who knows? Doesn't matter. Got doged. And it really exposes the disloyalty. And they felt betrayed by Trump, right? They felt betrayed. It's because they're the ones betraying Trump. They're going to the liberal media about it, talking to the liberal media about it. Where's your loyalty? You're the one who's betraying. These female Trump voters ain't loyal. There's another word for them. So there's disloyal Trump voter employees. It's been a rough start, guys. But it is Friday. And it is the A.J. Gallardo original theme song. So listen closely. And anyway, guys, let's just hold on 1 minute. I'm way ahead of myself. And you're probably going to hear my voice talking. The problem with this is that I can barely see the cursor.
Sometimes 7 because the metal song.
You hear me talking?
I played another.
Get right on.
I was playing Extol a year ago.
You hear it? It's ridiculous. Be quiet, Hake from
I played it
2022
and you liked it too, huh?
with the
That was a whole year ago. It was April 16th.
show.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report.
I can barely work like this.
Oh,
I
it's the
can't
Hake
see it.
Report, the Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the off-the-cuff commentary from Hake in 2022 and Hake present day. It's a mess.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Look at this. Listen to that. It's ridiculous. My talking commentary. Hake commentary. All a mess. You like my shirt? It's okay. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. How y'all doing? What's up, C-Sal? Adito. Oh, yeah. What's up, Notorious? I'm afraid to say your whole name. AJ Gallardo. I heard Mr. Pink's. I saw Mr. Pink. I happened to see, glance down at the chat. Mr. Pink said on some other chat, JLP Live, that Pat Benatar is a fake rock. Whoa. That's okay with me. But it's okay. It's still fun. Let's see if I can get to the news. This is going to be tricky.
So the fans, just the fans and TV. But once I do that, I want
It's news from a Christian alpha male perspective, allegedly. Oh, let me just click on this. Will you look at this? Look at it. Look at all these episodes. Crazy. So what's been happening, according to Commie Nonsense Network, it's fixable, but you're going to have to disrupt. Let's disrupt this.
You want to finish this?
Yeah, no, go for it. Let's disrupt this message.
Disruption going on now.
I'm going to read the news over here. You're not going to watch it, okay? It's going to go black, but that's okay. You heard about the Myanmar earthquake felt in Thailand. Somebody said that it's a woman. Woman? Yeah, Thailand prime minister is a woman. Typical. I shake my head. Trump is targeting the Smithsonian Institute as a mess, and they are a mess. They've been a mess, and we've known that they're a mess. The Smithsonian. Okay, I think that might be better.
Thanks, Bill.
Gracias. Gracias. Bill, making it happen. Mexican Monday's coming, guys. Get excited. Okay. Nice. This is so good. So I told you about the Smithsonian getting targeted as no good by Trump. Not no good, but they're advancing divisive narratives. J.D. Vance is going to be in charge, overseeing them, that they remove improper ideology. They're divisive. They're improper. They have things called African American Museum and Women's History Museum. That in itself is divisive and evil. Do you know that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Call in 1-888-775-3773. Also going to be looking at the National Zoo. The Secretary of the Interior, I forget who that is. Gonna check into public monuments, memorials, statues, and markers. Removed. Another thing that Trump is doing is targeting that collective bargaining mess. Collective bargaining. That's a buzzword for... That is a buzzword for union mess. In an effort to continue reshaping the federal workforce, Trump signed the EO, end that collective bargaining. That's when unions unionize and try to make a deal. No, be an individual. Bargain for yourself. Don't rely on the scumbag unions. Sorry. Oh, dirtbag unions. Not supposed to say that. But it's not all across the board collective bargaining that we're getting rid of. It's just the stuff having to do with national security type aspects. And, all right, we start with what's reasonable. Obama did that, you know? Obama did all kinds of stuff where he did stuff that he could get away with. So Trump is doing stuff for what's right that he can get away with. Obama obviously doing for what's evil. So, nice. The American Federation of Government Employees condemned it, saying President Trump's latest executive action, disgraceful, retaliatory attack on the rights, so-called, of hundreds of thousands of so-called patriotic American civil servants, nearly 1/3 of whom are veterans. And Trump loves the veterans? I don't. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, because I'm serious. The veterans make me want to spit. Thank me for my service, please. No thanks. But shout out. Shout out to the transgenders, the veterans, the women, the blacks. They're all about of the same character, especially nowadays. AFGE, American Federation of Government Employees, National President Everett Kelly, Kelley, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, moved to end so-called collective bargaining for tens of thousands of TSA workers at airports. Nobody likes the TSA, Transportation Security Administration. Or do they? I'm okay with them, but I've heard of them stealing laptops and stuff like that. A lot of them are black, and a lot of them are just touchy-feely, and they don't really care about us. So, nice. That's good news that Trump is doing that, I think. What else is happening in the world? This was sad. Selena, her killer woman, denied parole. Selena, what's Selena's name? Yolanda Salazar. D-I with an accent thing. V, Bechica. A-R. A-R. American former nurse. Born in 1960. Convicted in 1995 when she was, what, 35-ish? 34, 35. Maybe around 35, because I remember it was like my freshman year and Selena, all of a sudden we heard about her because she got killed. And everybody pretended like they loved her. But they only know about her and love her because she got killed. But her music is kind of nice, actually. I learned 20 years later. Born in Tejano, murder of Tejano, Tex-Mex, singer Selena, in Corpus Christi, Texas. These Mexican Americans, anchor babies, whatever they are, I don't know. She had been president of her fan club. So what happened was, she was a former nurse, was a fan of country music. She attended one of Selena's concerts. She began repeatedly calling Selena's father, Abraham, Quintanilla, about starting a fan club in San Antone. Unfortunately, the father eventually gave in, and she became the club's president. And then she eventually was promoted to manager. This fangirl, psycho fangirl, repeatedly calling Selena's father, became a manager of Selena, clothing boutiques. You guys know Selena? Como la flor. So good. Just the best. Oh, did I cuss? Pardon me if I cussed. Her clothing boutiques, Selena, etc. And there was another one. Amor prohibido. Fan club had got 1,500 members in less than 4 years. Is that a lot? I don't know. This is pre-height of the internet. Like, the internet, people were on it, sort of, a little bit. Like, the college kids would, like, start a little website, like GeoCities, maybe. But nobody was really on it. By 1993, 1,500 members in less than 4 years, grew to over 5,000. One of the largest fan clubs in the San Antonio area. But anyway, like, there was early 95, Selena's family, this woman had been in, she's American, but she has like a Mexican sort of a name. She'd been embezzling money from both the fan club and the boutiques. She got fired first week in March 31st. Selena agreed to meet this woman. What's her name again? Yolanda? Yolanda. At a Days Inn motel, Corpus Christi, to retrieve financial records that Yolanda Saldivar had been refusing to turn over. She delayed handing over by claiming she'd been R-worded, aped Reid, in Mexico. Selena drove her to a local hospital, told the gynecological exam had to be done elsewhere. The assault allegedly happened in another country. Returned to the motel. She demanded the records. She took a 38 Taurus, model 85. I've handled the Taurus before. It's like a Brazilian gun. Is it a revolver necessarily or no? Yeah, a revolver from her purse and pointed it at the singer. Selena tried to flee, but Yolanda shot her once in the back. Wow, severing an artery. Ooh. Critically wounded, Selena ran towards the lobby for help with Yolanda in pursuit, calling her don't read that word, kids. But it's what Jesse says, because he's country. But I was raised unknowingly feminist. I thought it was Christian, but it was feminist. The B word is banned by feminism, just like the N word is banned by radical blacks. Terrible. And their sympathizers. I shake my head. Selena collapsed on the floor. Clerk called 911. Died in a hospital from blood loss too soon. 1971 and 1995. 24 years old, something like that? Roughly, plus or minus. Almost 24, not quite. She's 23 years old. Died of murder. What a mess. These gals. These little stars and star, what is it when you're starstruck? Don't trust the fans, especially the psycho fans. Look at her. Quintanilla-Perez. Selena. Terrible, huh? A terrible story. Well, she was denied bail. Or not bail, but she was denied what is this thing? Denied parole yesterday. Just days before the 30th anniversary of that singer gal's death. Got a life sentence. Eligible for parole 2025. Petition denied due to the violent nature of her crime. Next parole review, March 2030. What a mess. Terrible. Well, we're pulling chin up, queen. Not that she's a queen. I have no idea. It's not like she's I don't know. Is she getting mistreated because Selena became famous in her death? Is she getting a worse treatment? Terrible. Okay. Anyway. Wow. Selena. No? Or Selena? No, I can't. What in the world? Oh, I'm acting like this is... When you switch between Mac and PC, you become a boomer. If you're not sharp. Feminism was started by Christians. The suffragette movement was all Christians. Just saying, Hake, says Kevin Howe. They weren't normal Christians, I bet you. I bet you they weren't normal Christians. And just because it's quote-unquote Christian, look at all the Christians. Jesus' main enemies, Jesus was killed by Christians. Right? The Christians at the time were the Jews. Right? So the Christians today are like the Jews of back then. Do you notice that? Same spirit. Whew. Okay. Anyway, let me get to a call or two, guys, if you don't mind. And we'll get back to the news, hopefully. Dennis in New Jersey's on the line over here. Dennis, thanks for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey.
Hey, it's good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, good to hear from you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess your moderator told you that I had called up to talk about fentanyl crisis and George Floyd, but I wanted to make a comment about about the veteran comments and stuff like that.
Okay.
I think it's important that we respect the veterans and the process that they went through, because only 1% of the American population even joins the military, and that 1% of people that join the military are willing to, die for the country.
Allegedly. Some of them are not. They know that they're not going to be at risk. And just because they're willing to die, that doesn't necessarily mean that they did it for the right reasons or for love of the country. You know what I mean? I get you. Point taken, though. Point taken. There are some who really do love America, and some really did suffer more than anticipated, or they knew that they were taking a major risk, and they did it anyway. Some of them did it for the easy money and benefits and stuff. Some did it because they had no other choice.
No bag don't mean anything if you're in a body bag. So
true. Yep.
Yeah. And I used to be a soldier too.
Nice.
And our chain of command told us that we don't surrender. If we come under fire, we either die or we live.
Wow.
So it's not a we don't have that option to surrender. So, you know, those
Oh,
military people, they basically write out their first will and testament, you know, before they go out to deployment. So that's just the way it is. You know, you
yeah.
notice that, you know, back in the day, you used to have like POWs. We don't have that anymore in the military.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, they don't. Well, I mean, we do. We have the ability to have such overwhelming uh, force that um, that that it's POWs is basically not an issue.
yeah, you would think so.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we still lose. We still lose wars. I mean, not we
Right.
still lose people, rather. And
True.
if Al Qaeda or those terrorists that supposedly in the Middle East, if they did want to take somebody hostage, they would. But
Wow.
as they're already doing, you know, with the people in Israel, or even like in Ukraine,
Yeah.
against the people.
Those are
the Russians.
hostages, though. Those aren't like American soldiers, you know.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
But the thing about the fentanyl crisis and George Floyd,
Yes.
I think it's inherently contradictory to blame George Floyd for being a fentanyl addict
Mm-hmm.
and then turn around and say it's Mexico and Canada's fault for bringing fentanyl into our country, and we have to punish them for making our people or our citizens of the country addicts.
Not necessarily.
Is George Floyd a victim, or is it just his own fault? Because if he's not a victim of what, you know, Mexico has done or China has done or Canada has done,
Right.
I mean, why are we punishing them for what George Floyd did or what all the other addicts in our country are doing?
Right. Well, you blame each person for what that person does wrong. So Mexico and Canada are allowing mess that's affecting America. That mess is affecting America. But shame, too, on the people who take the drugs. Shame on people who sell the drugs. Shame on people who take them. Shame on the people who are enabling the drugs to flow in this way. Shame on everybody for doing what each one does wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. I guess that's
So, yeah, so I don't see addicts as victims. I get that they had rough childhoods or whatever, and they can't help what they fall into. Different people fall into being what they think is gay. Different people fall into drugs. Different people fall into schmornography. Different people commit suicide, and but it's their fault that they're although they can't help it, it's still on them. They're not victims. If you want to think of yourself as a victim, that's not going to help you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously neither one of us has tried fentanyl,
Right.
but my understanding, the stuff is like so potent that the first time you take it, you're automatically addicted.
Is that the case? I don't know, but I have heard that that it is very strong, and just a tiny amount can kill.
Yeah, and I heard like say if a person was to take it and become addicted right away, like they could actually die from the withdrawal symptoms.
Oh, really? Wow. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
I haven't heard much as far as addiction to fentanyl. I've just heard of dying from fentanyl, and I get the impression that a lot of the times it's mixed with other drugs, and it's unknowingly they didn't know that it was mixed into the other drugs.
Yeah. So from my understanding, I did a little bit of research on it, and fentanyl was originally a synthetic narcotic that was made by medical scientists, people who were like severely injured and they didn't want them to feel any more pain anymore,
Yeah.
they would give them the fentanyl. So apparently it's like 100 times more potent than, heroin,
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
and heroin messes people up. You seen heroin addict people? Oof, they do not look great.
No. Well, the back in the day, way back in the day, heroin, you could usually buy that from back in the day. You used to be able to buy heroin from your local drugstore.
Whoa.
Until they realized, Jesse probably knows this, until they realized how addictive it was. But it used to be just something basic that people took like it was Tylenol back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing with cocaine, and then crack as well. It's supposed to be as soon as you take it the first time, there's some type of neurological reaction or chemical reaction in your body that like makes you addicted right away. But I think heroin, you could take heroin and get off of it.
Stay close to your phone.
Constantly. Hello? Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. You can take heroin and not get addicted to it and come off of it as
I heard
easier than with cocaine or especially crack, you're saying?
Yeah, crack is like more addictive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has like a more serious ramifications on it. I believe I've never been an addict of either one, but yeah,
That's
it has
wild.
like some, and then alcohol as well. Has reactions.
Oh, right. I had to take something that was an opioid. I didn't have to, I guess, but I have had some different things done, and the doctor will give you this, and I'm like, I'm white. I don't want to take this. It's an opioid. But I just made sure that I just did it according to what it said. This amount every this hours. But anyway, yeah, and the doctor wanted to make sure that I didn't that I took just regular like Tylenol as soon as possible rather than taking that opioid thing.
Yeah,
but it was not fentanyl. It was something else. I forget what it was.
Yeah, I took something too before I was been in surgery, and after the surgery was done, I felt better than I ever felt in my life. I thought I was, at the gates of heaven.
Oh yeah, the stuff that they put you on when you're in the surgery. Yeah, crazy.
And then on my way home, I was like, man, I feel so good. I want to go back and steal some more. I said,
terrible. Yeah. What a mess.
Them people on fentanyl, I know what they must be going through because I don't think I got that bad.
Yeah.
That's powerful of a sedative.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think that, George Floyd, putting out the race outside of the situation, he was an addict, he was addicted, he was medically addicted to a synthetic drug that was made by medical scientists that will, basically change the chemical makeup of your body. And that police officer who kept his knee on his back, I guess, I understand it was protocol for him to use that tactic.
Right.
But I don't know. It just seems like it was just a bad decision making to sit there and keep your knee on his back when he's saying that, he's sick or he's saying that he can't breathe. You have to assume he can't breathe. And then, all those medical professionals, even police officers, I'm sure they're certified in CPR and other pulmonary resuscitation stuff, even though, they are advised to wait for the ambulance to come. But if he's not even recognizing the symptoms of a heart attack or a cardiovascular, crisis or emergency, and at the same time he's disregarding that and keeping his knee on the back of the addict, it seems like that's why he was convicted of whatever it was, unintentional homicide.
I think I think they call it murder, a form of murder. Would you be against him being pardoned? Would you be upset? Let's say, would you think Trump would be wrong for pardoning Derek Chauvin?
Yeah, I believe so.
You think he would be wrong?
I believe he would be wrong because the judge and the medical professionals have already decided that he was guilty of what he did.
Well, not all medical professionals agreed.
Unless Trump,
Yeah. Go ahead.
unless Trump provide extenuating evidence that prove that Chauvin was, innocent of the crime, then that's something different. But they presented that to us. They're just going to go off of, I don't know what they're going off of.
He can only pardon him for the federal crimes, not necessarily for the state crimes, I guess, because he doesn't really have jurisdiction over the state stuff. Come on, man, is saying Trump can't pardon Derek Chauvin, and that reminded me that he can't pardon him for the state stuff, probably. But I think that he should be. I think that was a kangaroo court. I don't think it was a legitimate, fair trial that they gave him. We had this activist attorney general of the state of Minnesota in there every single day, I think. Keith Ellison, I think is his name. Muslim, light-skinned black guy who's just not a fair-minded person. And they were pretending like it was racism. Black Lives Matter went crazy about it. They were destroying cities. It was an insurrection. And there was all this propaganda on both sides, I grant you. And I watched the video as a layman, a layman being not an expert, but you don't have to be an expert to see that this is not fair. I looked at the video of the thing, the entire arrest. I saw when he was freaking out. They got him out of his car. I think they sat him against the wall. They put him in one side of the SUV. He climbed all the way out the other side of the SUV in the back seat. He's like, I'm whatever, claustrophobic or something. Freaking out. I can't breathe even before they put him on the floor, on the ground. I say floor. I say floor to be stylish, but it's ground, okay? When it's outside, it's the ground. When it's inside, it's the floor. But up until the last 2 to 3 minutes, I had no problem with how the police were handling him. And then in the last 2 to 3 minutes after looked like he was out, and I saw the hecklers heckling the police, trying to interfere and yelling this Karen woman. Pardon me for using the K word on this woman who was like a fireman woman or something like that. And this black guy who's like, I think it was black or Hispanic or something. I think it was black. Saying, he is human, bro. Just meddling and not helping the situation. The police had to pay attention to the surroundings and be careful with people stressing them and trying to approach and help and get in the way. It looked maybe questionable. It did not look like a crime.
Well, as a court, they don't have that person that was heckling the police officers on trial. They have to focus on the actual case at hand.
But that's part of the case. They were distracting. They were distracting the cops. They were putting the cops at risk because they don't know what this guy's going to do. Who's getting all aggressive and criticizing the cops and nitpicking their actions. They just walk. They're just passersby who are trying to meddle and get in the way. And he was.
That's a case for his defense, but
right.
I guess they could bring that up. Did his attorneys appeal it?
Yeah, they did appeal, but I think that some of the appeals were rejected. It was just the courts are not fair, man.
Mm-hmm.
And people way overreacted to it. I know it didn't look good at first. A lot of people were fooled at first. A lot of even conservative, pro-white, people who know that blacks are out of control, even those people were like, oh, this is bad. a lot of people are kind of anti-cop these days. It's a big mess.
So if the courts are unfair, then the million black men that are in prison now, not all of them got a fair trial.
Right. I think that not all of them got a fair trial. I think blacks, since they face court so much, there's so much crime in the black community, and sometimes they get framed for stuff or they get falsely blamed for stuff because it's kind of believable because they commit more crime per capita. I heard that there's a lot of, or more than a handful of innocent men falsely convicted or whatever. Definitely.
Yeah, but the court isn't supposed to.
But the courts nowadays, do you notice the anti-white bias of that trial? Like they're pretending like, oh, black victimhood, these whites, the police, racism, systemic stuff. Did you notice that flavor? The black.
I thought Minnesota was like one of the whitest states in the whole entire union.
Whether it is or not, did you notice the anti-white bias in the trial though? With the black DA and the Black Lives Matter going crazy, crying racism on Derek Chauvin.
Yeah, from the media perspective, it did look that way.
Yeah.
But like I said, I wasn't there. I wasn't part of the trial, so
right.
It would be unprofessional or irresponsible for me without the proper evidence to say that it was an unfair trial.
Fair. That's kind. That's decent of you.
I mean, that's what it should be, shouldn't it?
You should be decent and you should be fair.
Right. Yeah. Because we'll be a hypocrite if we say that the courts are unfair and then don't even do the work to find out whether or not they are being fair.
I think I'm okay with not having to know all of the facts and be there necessarily, because just look at that guy. I don't know if you're familiar with Keith Ellison, but he has been a liberal, radical activist and public nuisance against America since he was a congressman, and then he became Attorney General of Minnesota. I don't know if Minnesota is the whitest state, one of the whitest states in the union. I don't know how that guy got to be Attorney General. That's crazy. They have a high Muslim population, I think, Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I think every state is mostly white, but Minnesota. I mean, black people don't like the cold, so.
Black people don't what? Like to what?
Black people don't like the cold. If they in Minnesota, it's because they got to be there.
Oh, the cold. Yeah, true. Interesting call, Denison, New Jersey. Yeah, well, I urge you, if you're a Christian or whatever, pray or wish Derek Chauvin well. A lot of people have to suffer a lot of unfair things in life, and but it's good to accept your lot in life, and I hope that for everyone. Yeah,
maybe we'll see Chauvin in the next life, in the
yeah.
afterlife with a baby Jesus.
Yeah, maybe we all make it to heaven. That would be cool.
Yeah, we'll talk it over, play some spades, and dominoes.
Well, salute to you, Dennis. It's great.
All right, salute.
It's cool talking to you. Take care.
Take care.
Bye. Nice. Ronnie in Ohio on the line over here. Ronnie, thank you for calling and holding. What's up?
My brother Hake, how you doing?
Doing well. How about you?
All is well. Can't complain.
Nice.
Yeah. Real quick, did I see you making fun of Joy Reid talking about a war that we lost to Canada?
Oh, I might have done it a little bit. Is that the one where she's all Canada burned down, Canadians, we don't want to mess with Canadians. Canadians burned down the White House. I was on the Jesse the Peterson show alongside Jesse, and Jesse's like, that's a lie. And then I said, well, Trump said that Canada burned down the White House. He told that to Justin Trudeau. But yeah, I was in that little situation there. We were covering Joy Reid being crazy, or being kind of kind of crazy.
Yeah. Now you remember when Mark used to call I would always want you to ask him about his thoughts on that specific war. You remember what war it was?
Was it the War of 1812?
Yes.
Okay.
So I know we had talked about it before. I don't know if you had did the homework on that or not, to kind of look into that war and see how important and significant it was.
I'm kind of bad about doing my homework, unfortunately. It's not right. But go ahead. What about it?
So that's the old homework assignment. Was you were supposed to look at the war 1812 and see how it affected how things are today.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's about trade, and it's about who controls what territory. So even over 200 years from that, we still kind of deal with a similar situation.
Interesting. And so Canada got involved because Canada was part and is part of Great Britain, right? Or is it part of the British Empire somehow?
See, that's part of your new homework assignment. I really only called to talk to you about the O when you were supposed to do.
Okay.
In the Bible, it's biblical.
Right. There was another one, huh? You're talking about Psalm 22?
Psalm 22.
Yeah. And I haven't read it still, but that's the one right before. Or is that the one that starts, my God, why have you forsaken me? Right?
Yes. So in 3 out of the 4 Gospels, when Jesus was on the cross, they say at 3:00 in the afternoon, he said, my Father, why have you forsaken me?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have kind of used that verse to try to say that Jesus had a moment of being angry with God or
doubt
rebelling or questioning. Yeah. And for years I heard it and I'm like, I don't know why you guys are making this argument, because that argument doesn't really make sense to me. And then I stumbled upon Psalm 22. And if you go through it, if you go through it, you'll kind of understand some of the aspects of it. But it's really just the way that chapter starts, and then the way that what happens in the middle of it, and then the way that it ends.
Yeah.
Is the part that's significant. And I don't think that Jesus was having a moment of doubt. I think he knew this psalm because he studied the scriptures, and this is David writing that psalm right there.
Yeah.
I think Jesus was on the cross, and I think he was singing that psalm, not having a moment of doubt, not crying out to his Father. I think he was really singing this psalm. And if you go through it and look at what happens in it, it would be fitting. It would be a fitting scripture. It would be a fitting song to sing in that moment, being on the cross, getting ready to fight the battle that he fought.
Because in some cases, the Psalms were songs.
Yes. And then even the app that you use, the little Bible Gateway, sometimes it'll say for the music director, and then it'll say like to the tune of some unknown song that I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, that clarifies it to where some of them definitely were made to be, you sing them. Some of them were poems. They got a lot of different forms, and it's 150 of them. So I tell people to catch them all, kind of like Pokemon.
But it's
they all got their significance.
It is an interesting and great and pertinent phrase or question or outburst that Jesus would say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? I don't want to make any assumptions as to what it was other than what you said. I agree that it was a reference to this psalm, clearly. But that's a good phrase to say at that point, it seems like, maybe.
Wait, say that again? I'm sorry.
It's a good phrase to say at that point. Because I'm not agreeing with the people calling it doubt or whatever. I could go with if God like left him alone there in that moment. I don't know that that's the case. I don't want to put words in the Bible's mouth or in Jesus's mouth or meaning that it wasn't meant. Mm-hmm. But it is interesting. He was on the cross dying, and he's saying, my God, why have you forsaken me? I'm not saying anything about it other than that it's interesting / cool / pertinent that he said that. And it's also pertinent, the whole thing that this thing says.
Yes, and then to know that this is David that wrote that.
Son of
and
David.
Jesus quoted scripture all the time.
Right.
So I wouldn't put it past him to want to choose to quote scripture in that moment where he's been crucified and he's on the cross.
Yeah.
So it seems like that would be something fitting for him if his mind was always thinking in scripture, and that's what he would speak to people. This fits. And then, like I said, in 3 of the 4 Gospels, they all mention the exact time and the exact statement, and they all agree. And that doesn't always happen. It's only a few instances where something is exactly a duplicate in 2 of the Gospels, let alone 3. So, and then to know that, you know, David had a lot of these moments where it's a psalm of, it seems like he's in some type of despair or pain. And it's just like, it's a moment. And then you just go to the next psalm after this one, and it's like, God is all I need. And it's now I can lie down in green pastures. So it's almost like a sequential story.
Yeah.
If Jesus was singing this, this Psalm 22 ends with "It is finished." That's the same thing Jesus said. And then you get Psalm 23 right after that.
Yeah. The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. Right.
Boom. And it's, you know, that's the being able to be still. That you're made to be still. We weren't made to be working and stressing out and doing all this stuff that we humans choose to do. We need to spend more time being still, being silent,
Yeah.
and living in that, because that's what we were created to do. And so Psalm 22, Psalm 23, they are both powerful. I always used to kind of skip or not skip past it, but overlook Psalm 22. But after actually reading it and studying it and being like, hold on, what is this? So I just kind of connected those dots. Right
on, man. Cool. Well, thank you for the contribution and helping me with my homework.
Yep, yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I won't hold up the line. I know people hate when I call, but they got to get over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let you get to those other callers, and I'll check in with you and see if you did your War of 1812 homework.
That sounds good, man. Appreciate it. Take care, Ronnie.
Yes, sir. Take care. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Right.
You know, the Bible says, my mother used to write like little Bible verses around the yard and house and stuff. And one of them said, this is Isaiah 30:15, and she said it in the NIV. Something like, in repentance and rest is your salvation, in quietness and trust shall be your strength. Something like that. But that's Isaiah 30:15. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength. But ye would not, and ye would not. Interesting, huh? But you wouldn't. But she left only that part where it said, in repentance and rest shall be your salvation, in quietness and trust. You know how women want peace, but they don't have it, but they want it. And so they'll have peace. They'll say peace, peace, when there is no peace. Where was I? Quiet. Yeah, there we go. I think that's it. But you said, no, we will flee upon horses, and therefore you will free. We will ride upon the swift, therefore you'll be pursued by the swift. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of 1, at the rebuke of 5 shall ye flee, till you, meaning you're a bunch of cowards. You scare easily. Terrible. What a bad way to live. But isn't that nice? In returning and rest shall you be saved. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength, he said. But you would not. You wouldn't have any of it. Nice. Anyway. William number 7 on the line here. William, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Hake. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Thanks.
Awesome. So, was that a Bible tract you were reading from?
No, it was from the internet on the Bible, as read on the internet.
Oh, so basically it was an electronic Bible tract.
Right.
Maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. So, hey, my original call was me wanting to seek understanding because I'm old, brown, and slow.
Nice.
Even though I sound white. When you said, you veteran, you make me want to spit. and I just wanted understanding why you would say that, yet your last caller, I think, or maybe the one before that, you kind of explained why. Because I didn't think you hate the veterans.
Right.
I think you love the veterans. So, yeah, I was just wanting to get an understanding. And so I think you kind of explained it pretty well. I know I went in when I was pretty young, at 19.
Yeah.
Which actually maybe I've heard people going in at 17. So actually me being 19, I was a little older than most people.
True.
When they go in.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I went in for a sense of what I told myself at the time was I wanted to serve my country. And
okay.
And I grew up in a very small town, and I knew there wasn't much there. It was 3,000 people.
Not much in the way of opportunities, jobs, and stuff. You're saying?
No, sir. I went from job to job because I was young, and just when you're young, you are living in the moment. You do not think about your future. I would say that is true. For the most part, if you're left to your own devices, or if your parents don't instill the right way to go.
Yeah.
So, but then once I got in, I didn't think I was going to do more than 4 years. Then I grew to like it, and wound up doing 14. And so, was in the Gulf War, and missed a couple catastrophes by 2 weeks, like when Khobar Towers blew up.
Wow.
In May of 1996, I actually lived right next to the tower that blew up, and somebody from my hometown died in that explosion.
Whoa! Yeah.
And, yeah, because there's only 19 people that got killed, or 18 military, 1 civilian, and one of them was from my small little hometown. Which, if you think about it, what are the chances of all the towns in the United States of America and one from your hometown actually passing away in that explosion? So,
wow.
Yeah. So
that's wild. Yeah, I knew in high school there was this good young man, if you will, who he got
as far as you knew.
Yeah, he got run over by a tank or something. I don't know. He got hit by something over there overseas pretty early, right after high school, in the military. He died. Kind of crazy when you hear about stuff like that. I mean,
in training, people die in training. When you train for war, it's not a joke.
Yeah, a lot of death. You know how people are in movies, they're searching a house and then they come upon each other and they're pointing the guns at each other but don't shoot? That's not real life. Real life, friendly fire is very common.
Oh, absolutely. But, well, that's why it comes to so because that's what I did, they teach you you should always, it's tough. So we were taught as a military policeman, before you could aim at anybody, that person better have 3 things: intent, capability, and the opportunity that they're trying to kill you. So basically,
you can't be jumpy.
If they have a gun, it better be pointed at you.
Right.
If they have a knife, well, if they're 20 feet away, they can't really, unless they're like Bruce Lee, and can throw it at you, but that's Hollywood. But yeah, intent, capability, and opportunity, those 3 adjectives that were used in our lessons, is what I think all law enforcement should be taught. I don't know if it's taught. I only know what the police academy in the Air Force taught. And but you have to practice. You have to drill, because if you don't practice it, you might just pull the trigger when you shouldn't have.
Yeah. I heard that, and I don't know if I don't remember. I've never seen the study myself, but I thought as I recall hearing, Heather MacDonald, who studied, she wrote a book, The War on Cops. JLP interviewed her.
So I do not know about it, and I've never read the book, but that'd be probably an interesting read.
She, as I recall, she said that there was a study in Philadelphia in which the white officers were less likely to shoot an unarmed suspect errantly than the black and Hispanic cops. which I could believe if there's like a pattern of less self-discipline and less training and stuff like that required of people, you know?
Well, yeah, it's basically in the moment. If you get flustered, I think it's what Jesse talks about.
Women too. Women pull the trigger a lot, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking anger when you just lose your temper.
Right.
You don't think straight, and I mean, I'm glad I never had to shoot anybody in the military. I did go to war. I didn't have to kill anybody. I think I'm sure it would have affected me had I had to do so.
Yeah.
And so I can't speak to that, you know. And so someone who does take another man's life. So I kind of want to segue, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because that was a long time ago. That was I got out of the military now 25 years ago. So since then, becoming a quote-unquote Christian and reading the Bible for myself and especially the four Gospels and hearing what Jesus had said. So basically, when I raised my hand that day, it meant to defend my country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, technically, the gospel supersedes that mindset. Now, I know I had nothing to do with where I was born. I was born here, and I said I'd defend my country. But the fact that we go to war, like, that's what Jesus was trying to tell us. The gospel is the gospel of peace, and that you are to love your enemy and seek understanding. And if you're wrong, you correct it. And if not, you show the other person who's wrong. And then you come to an agreement and you live in peace. So the fact that we're still at war means the world has not really accepted the gospel of Jesus Christ. And the fact that it's just become as long as you believe Jesus was God, which is also a twisting in the scriptures, as long as you believe that, then you're saved. And I think, no, our jurisprudence system here or in the West or in anywhere does not work like that. So why would God do it that way? I think Jesus was our example, and that he spoke the gospel of peace to the point where he refused to change it. And the Pharisees, who were in charge of Israel spiritually, because remember, Rome was in place with the heavy hand in the military, they saw Jesus as innocent. It was the jealous Pharisees that hate him. They were jealous because they saw that he brought the truth, and the Pharisees just laid burdens on them. So now that I think about it, if I were to say we really should all get along, all countries, all people, all religions, then you're deemed a heretic and that you should be killed, which, you know, so I hope I didn't jump too much there. But does that make sense? In other words, I got brethren who are veterans who, if I said, I think the fact that we are willing to kill another person in another country because of what they believe, how can you not look at that as evil?
Interesting.
I mean, right? I mean, who would have thought in Jesus' day we could get on a plane and be on the other side of the earth in about, 15 hours? So the fact that we can do that now and we'll be following orders, and the fact that we are following orders, and so were Hitler's guards following orders, and yet that didn't excuse them. So, yeah. So, very interesting, right? Hopefully I didn't get too deep. I know you like to go loosey-goosey, but, Hake, I appreciate you letting me talk. But any thoughts on that?
I don't know. It sounded like you're saying Christians shouldn't necessarily go to war, or Christians shouldn't go to war. And I'm not sure if you're saying Christians shouldn't go to war at all, or just over their other people's beliefs. But the wars are never justified by they believe differently from us necessarily. They're justified by other things, and some of those justifications are probably not the real reason for the wars. And
you're probably right. You're probably correct. I agree.
I don't know what they should do. I don't know. I don't think that it's wrong for a Christian to go to war necessarily.
I would say if it's for the right reason.
But it's hard to know. It's like who's a soldier to know that? The soldier has to be right. I think the soldier should be right in his heart, and that's all he's responsible for, really. and then
Yes.
follow the orders.
What he can see in front of him.
Yeah.
So that is one of my smaller contentions with, I would say, your guys' and I mean Bond and all your shows. You do say that anybody who has anger, period, is evil, and you're leaving out part of the scripture where it says, where Jesus says, anybody who has anger without cause is doing the work of the devil. And so if you have a cause, then that's why there's courts.
But everybody thinks that they have you noticed that everybody thinks they have a cause for anger?
Well, of course that goes without saying.
So the without cause thing, I don't know if that's I wouldn't hang on too tightly to that without cause thing. Because then you'll justify your anger when it's not justified, and you're a murderer.
No, I didn't say murder.
No, but I'm saying
is action. Anger is an emotion.
Right, but anyone who hates his brother is a murderer.
Well, I'm just quoting
1
what
John
Jesus said.
I know, but it's all the same. But it's all about this. It's all the same message still. And the point is, the without cause thing that gives you wiggle room that you shouldn't necessarily be giving yourself.
Well, then I'll say this:
Do you agree with that?
Or my warning, only if you agree with the other side of the coin, and that is, if you always say nothing and you do see evil, then evil can only grow when good men do nothing.
But I don't know how that's another side of anything that I said, though.
Because you just said, for one, you're asking to leave those two words that were in Jesus' quote. You're saying not to hang on.
I don't know if those words were there or added there or what, but there is no cause for anger.
I know they're there.
You don't know that?
Yes, I do. I've read the Bible enough, and so do you.
I've read it. It's not there in every translation.
I didn't know we were arguing about translation.
I know, but you say that you know that it's there. You know that Jesus said it, and you don't know that Jesus said it.
No,
and you don't know what he meant by it. You're acting like there is a cause for anger, right?
No, I didn't say.
Is there a cause for anger?
Absolutely.
And it's a just cause.
When you see evil.
What? Where did you get that idea?
So let me ask you this. So if you're downtown mall and you're out and about and you see some guy in a black hood starting to stab people in the mall, you don't think that's evil?
That's evil?
Okay, then.
But you said that's a just cause for anger?
I would say that could raise anger, but
what would God say? What would Jesus say, though?
What would Jesus say?
What would God say? Because you would say it was a just cause for anger, but would God say that?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because it's one of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not commit murder.
Right, but does it say that that's a just cause for anger?
Well, you can't make an argument from silence. That's one of the most. That's one of the fallacies that the atheist likes to use. Why would you go down that road?
Down what road? I asked you if it's a just cause for anger just because it's against the 10 Commandments.
But then you asked me, does that make anger? You asked me, does that mean that it's okay that if you're angry? So anyway,
I don't follow what you're not being clear.
Okay, well, I'm doing the best I can.
You're not answering the question. You didn't answer how it's a just cause for anger. Seeing evil is a just cause for anger.
Well, what else would cause anger?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a just cause for anger.
Okay. Well, God said, hate what I hate, love what I love.
Right, but it didn't say anything about a just cause for anger.
Is hate the same as anger?
It depends on what it is. Was God angry at Cain? I don't know. He said, or Esau.
He was angry at Israel.
He said, Esau I hated, but was he angry at Esau?
Yep.
Was he angry at Esau?
And Jacob I love.
Right. Does that mean that he was angry at Esau?
I don't know. You're the one making the assertion, not me.
No, you're the one that made the assertion that hate and anger are the same.
No, that's
everywhere
something
that the Bible says hate,
Jesse
everywhere
says-
that the Bible
Jesse
says
says that
anger,
all
you're going to
the
think
time.
that that's what you're feeling towards evil. But everybody thinks that they hate evil.
I don't think nobody knows what another person's feeling. I mean, we might be able to relate depending on our circumstances, culture, and what we've been through. But
When you were evil, did you think that you hated evil?
so when you're talking about evil, is that sin? Are you talking about when I fell short, when I sinned, when I was just
Yeah, when you were
William wanted?
in your evil, did you think that you hated evil?
No, I justified my behavior because I didn't think I was hurting.
I'm not asking about your behavior. I'm thinking about asking if you thought that you hated evil.
You've always hated evil.
Right. The evil hate evil. And
Do
what
you
good
hate
is
evil?
that?
Well, my question is, do you hate evil?
No, but you're deviating from
Oh.
the question. The evil hate
I am?
evil, and what good is that?
So Jesus said, "Do not pay evil for evil." Right? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm asking what good is it to hate evil?
So it does not.
When the
so you
evil
can
hate
stamp it out?
evil.
Yeah, I'm saying that's a very good question, and I think that scripture points to it. God, Jesus said, "Do not hate, do not repay evil for evil, but love for evil."
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Hake. You want to change the subject, or do you got to get going?
I got to keep it moving. I
get it, man. Well, hey, it
Read
got
the
a
super
little deep
chats.
there, and I appreciate it. And I hope you have a good weekend.
Nice.
Hake.
Same to you, William.
Number 7.
Another
Peace out.
veteran. Take care. Bye. Okay, super chats, guys. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Over on Rumble, Age of Inversion, during Dennis's call. Hake, poor man's Ronnie, Dennis. We heard from Ronnie in Ohio and from Dennis in New Jersey. Is completely wrong. You cannot become addicted after using fentanyl once, nor can you die from withdrawal from fentanyl. This is complete nonsense. I have a sneaking suspicion that you may be right. That's why I asked him that. I'm like, what, really? Maybe I should have been more incredulous because I let him get away with saying it. That's why I frequently will tell you, don't believe what you hear on the Hake Report from Hake or from callers or from super chatters or from CNN, Commie Nonsense Network, or even necessarily from Age of Inversion. But I haven't heard anything about fentanyl is addictive or you get it, at least that it's addictive for once, using it once. Pain meds, yeah, I've heard that people get addicted to it. Using it once, I've heard of drugs that you, and I don't know if he was telling the truth about crack and heroin either. Not that he would lie to us, but just that he would believe something that's not true. Nice. Thank you, Age of Inversion. I guess I'll leave it at that. I would search into it. What's up, D-Live crew? But I don't have a lot of time. I got to keep things moving. Based America First. Bought a coffee over here. Ongoing Palisades fire and Eaton fire mess. 6 coffees, actually, he bought. You know, we had those wildfires down here in L.A. Karen Bass, the so-called mayor, 2021 campaign promised she would not travel internationally if elected. But Biden said, go to Ghana for me. Be my representative. Represent the United States and the president. And go to Ghana. Ghana. It's not Ghana. Ghana, Africa, and pretend to support their whatever, presidential inauguration or something. This woman, this black female, whom JLP dominated in debate, by the way, when questioned about being in Ghana when the fires started, Karen stated she was investigating herself to determine who approves her travel schedule. She said she wants to be the face of the recovery, which will take 5 years. Angling for re-election? Karen fired the LA Fire Department Chief Kristen Crowley, this is point 2, in further efforts to limit blame of herself for cutting LA Fire Department budget, LAFD, $17 million that directly limited their ability to fight wildfires, or to prepare for them, perhaps, I don't know, by cutting back the brush and refilling the things and checking the reservoirs and all that stuff. I don't know. SoCal Ed is being sued for the claim that their equipment, Edison, Southern California Edison, is being sued for the claim their equipment sparked the Eaton fire. Yeah, they're blaming Edison for the Eaton fire and somebody's suing them. 1968 California Public Records Act mandates public officials make their records available to the public unless specifically exempted by law. Karen claims her text messages automatically delete after 30 days. Fortunately, everyone she texted still has them. Karen doesn't know who approves her travel schedule, but is a technical savant using a feature that selectively knows which messages to remove. Gruesome, that's Gavin Newsom, also deleted his messages. Whoa. When questioned about violating the law, he falsely claimed that the law doesn't apply to him. California Public Records Act, 1968. Wow. Interesting. Gruesome, Gavin Newsom, sent a letter, that's the governor, so-called, letter to U.S. Congress requesting $40 billion, stating Los Angeles will use the money wisely. Oh, that'd be a first in a long time anyway. He cut state firefighting budget more than $100 million just months before the wildfires. Did he cut the pensions? I doubt it. Shout out to the firefighters, the firemen and fire females, firemen, women. Demon rats use other people's money so wisely that they can't balance the state budget. Yeah, I heard he claimed to have a surplus. He's been bragging about having a surplus. I'm like, oh, I guess California has a surplus. When in actuality, he's not really telling the whole truth. May even be lying. I don't know. California senators and reps separately urging Congress to fund recovery efforts. Californians are entitled to receive federal disaster assistance in the same manner as all Americans, quote unquote. Fires can be a natural occurrence, but California's ongoing disaster is a demon rat policies, incompetence, and malfeasance. Malfeasance, nice word, I like that. Trump proposed tying voter ID and citizen-only voting to the funding. Base Trump, malfeasance. Wrongdoing, especially by a public official. Malfeasance. Let's see. I want to see, like, yeah, the Latin or whatever. Origin, Anglo-Norman French. Oh, forget the Latin people. Latin people. Mal is evil. Yeah, mal means bad or evil. Old French, faisant. Sorry, French. I'm not sorry, but bear with me. Faisant. Faisance. Old French, help me out. Malfaisance. Malfaisant. Anglo-Norman French. Malfaisant. That's not funny. Late 17th century from the Anglo-Norman. Shout out to the Normans. Norman. Nice name. If I have a son, I'm going to name him Norman. And I shall nod to the French. Why not just be normal? Be like Norm. Faisance, activity is what faisance means. Back to this thing. Right on. Adam Carolla, former Californian? Was he I think he was a guest on the JLP show. Made vlogs, video blogs, documenting the lack of Palisades progress. Only 4 construction permits issued in 75 days. Yeah, Trump was like, do it now. Use your emergency powers, Karen Bass. He embarrassed her. But he wasn't even necessarily trying to embarrass her. He was just pushing for helping the people to help themselves. Help the people help themselves. Get out of the way, evil government. You kidding me? I heard there was this interview that this comedian guy, pardon my interruption, Based America First of your super chat. There was this guy, he's like a comedian, not Christian, okay, New York. He was interviewing this guy, another like Jewish guy, I think, who was talking about getting stuff done from the government. The government passes these laws. The Biden administration, for example, passed this law that, oh, we're going to get broadband to the rural communities. Broadband being a fancy internet. Has to do with a good internet connection. I imagine that the band is like a wire and it's wide, and it lets the internet flow freely. But I have no idea. It just sounds good, but it's probably good. And like 56 areas across the country applied and went through this process. 3 of them in 4 years in the entire Biden one-term president thing. 3 of them, I think, out of the 56 got through to be like, okay, you're approved for this money. Millions of dollars or whatever granted to you to, now you can go build your broadband internet. What a mess, huh? Talk about not getting things done. That's the government for you. In 2022, honorary LA Fire Department Chief Paul Scrivano noted that the fire department, this was a few years ago, would continue to fail. Wow, I didn't know that they were failing in the first place. But the fire department would continue to fail in LA because 75% of their time is spent transporting the homeless to hospitals. Whoa! 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 I hadn't heard that. Thank you, Based America First. And this is, according to Based America First's research, he doesn't tend to get things wrong. Take it with a grain of salt, but look into it if you are interested. Karen Bass, a mess. It's funny that she said she wouldn't travel. That's one of her campaign promises, that she wouldn't travel, and then she did. And, you know, like, there's all kinds of different things that you got to keep track of. For example, they were saying, oh, what were they saying? They were saying that, sorry, I'm distracted a little bit. I'm distracted by my own actions. They were saying, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Weather Service, National Weather Service. Major fire risk today, dry conditions, high winds. Major fire risk coming up. And she didn't know. She should have known maybe, but she didn't know. And when you're new, she's basically new as like a mayor. She's been a female congressman. Female congressmen don't have to do anything, right? And now she has to be a mayor, and mayors have to be ready to do something, I guess. What's a mayor supposed to do? Pfft. Except hopefully run a city right, but it doesn't take much. It just kind of runs itself because you have all these underlings, some of them paying attention to what they're doing, many of them not, but staying paid anyway because it's a government job. What a mess. Thank you, Based America First, for your coffees on the California wildfires and the corrupt politicians. That's cool. Okay, one more quick super chat. Someone bought 3 coffees. Hake, what's this say? I asked this question on Jesse's program. No I in Jesse, by the way. But it was too late. I work for a foreign company. I avoid the meeting with the foreign boss because he's constantly lies and manipulates. Should I go to the meetings? If it's your job. If it's part of your job that you got to go to the meetings, then go to the meetings. Let him lie to you. And if he's manipulating, get a feel of what he wants you to do. And if it's not evil for you to do this thing, do it for him. It's like what Jesus said in the Bible was, I don't know if, I'm not sure, someone with your coffees, but because you're in the situation, you got to do what you see to do. Don't be judging your foreign boss who, according to you, constantly lies and manipulates. But the Bible says to the Jews, Jesus said to the Jews, I think, they had foreigners ruling over them, the Roman centurions and stuff, and they would force these people, hey, carry my stuff for a mile. If you're forced to walk 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. So don't resent his supposed lies and manipulation. And I say supposed just because I don't know. His, according to you, lies and manipulation. Not that you've ever lied to me that I know of. Someone with your coffees. And we'll probably get to your super chats. There were a bunch of super chats that we will hopefully get to on the J.S.W. Peterson show next week. Thanks, man. Jeff in Louisiana is on the line over here. Jeff, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
I just had another question for you. I hate to bring it up again, but I can't remember the last caller's name. But you're talking military, the veterans, I don't respect them.
Right.
So let me get this right. You don't respect our veterans, but you respect Zelensky.
When you brought this up, I was like, oh no, here it comes. You got me. Okay, you're right. If I respect anybody, I respect the veterans, probably more than Zelensky. But you're right. The point is that I don't respect them because of their service. I respect them because they're fellow human beings, and I respect everybody. But you know how these people, they get all on their high horse being all about their service. I also don't respect Zelensky because he's a leader of a country necessarily, or because he's like asking us for money all the time and being lame and liberal. I don't respect him for those things. I just respect him as a fellow human being, and I respect him for achieving that position in a worldly sense. He's gained some worldly power, and that takes some skill, worldly skill, not necessarily something godly. Maybe not, maybe not. So you're right. I should respect the veterans. You're right.
Man, I'm going to say this real quick.
Yeah.
It's not harping on it, but
yeah, no, go for it.
But the reason you should respect the veterans is because of where you're sitting right now. You're doing a radio show on the internet and getting paid for it.
Right.
You're not having to go out here in a communist country and try to make it or go overseas and fight and all this crap.
Right.
But you're able to go to sit in a studio and do a TV show.
I respect everybody because I get to do this. But the soldiers have cushy jobs too sometimes. They're not necessarily, and they didn't achieve this, my ability to be here. They didn't fight for my freedom. That's just a saying. Oh, we're fighting for your freedom. We're the reason that you have the First Amendment. No, you're not. Maybe the Revolutionary War people are to thank, and France are to thank for that, but not these veterans today. You know what? If that's what you're saying, I don't know if you're saying that.
I'm not. I'm just saying the fact.
Oh, I got an easy job, and they have perhaps a harder job. I respect that.
That's not what I'm saying. Exactly.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I agree with you. For the rights you have,
mm-hmm.
is because of people of the older generation.
Yeah, yeah. Like the Revolutionary War.
Well, yeah, you can go back that far. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the real starting point of it. But you can go back to World War II because
I don't respect World War II necessarily.
dude, my granddad was at DDG or
Yeah, I respect the veterans of World War II because they didn't have a say. They just did what they're supposed to do, you know. But I don't think that World War II secured us any more freedom necessarily. I remain unconvinced.
Not necessarily in America as far as our own soul doing stuff, as far as trade and partners it did.
Yeah, it shaped the world that we're in today, and whatever is good and evil about it,
but
it's
also
in part due to that. Yeah, go ahead.
And also, guys, kind of screwed up point right now where we're fighting with. That's why we're supporting Ukraine because we joined the United Nations and all that crap.
Yeah.
So we could do without that, but you know, that's the point. We were, you know, you had to respect them because they fought, but like, you know, I get what you're saying. There's people that went to now you want to go for Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw you had to go and fight and everything else, but, you know, what did you accomplish?
Right.
Nothing.
And that's not even the reason that I say what I say about the veterans. It's because there is this trendy, fake, politically correct
entitlement,
respect our veterans stuff that is just makes me want to spit. You know, I
ain't gonna name who it was, but I know his name for something. I know somebody that went to Vietnam, and their younger brother was going to get drafted, so they volunteered another tour in Vietnam. So the brother had to go fight. But their brother's already in the military, so he spent his whole quote unquote tour in Panama smoking dope.
Whoa. Yeah, yeah.
With the United States military.
Yep.
And he comes back and acts like he went and fought and he done something for our freedoms. He didn't do
right.
nothing because his brother fought for him.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. No, yeah, all veterans are not equal in terms of in terms of their respectability, their service, in terms of the quality of people that they were and how much work they did and what value they brought. I got you, man.
I was just like you dig this Zelensky because I can't stand that prick.
Right. Good call, man. Good, man. All right, take care. Nice. So catch the Fallen State, everybody. The Fallen State is coming up next. We're past the bottom of the hour here. Let me refresh and check for any remaining super chats that have come in so far. Hello to the I am live on punchy.tv/Hake. You can catch the Fallen State on punchy.tv/JLP. You can catch the Anchor Baby on punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. When Joel's live, you can catch him on punchy.tv/JFTV. We, of course, have Church with Jesse Lee Peterson coming up, and that'll be on punchy.tv/JLP. And, of course, I mentioned the Fallen State and the radio show are all on that channel. Just FYI, in addition to YouTube and Rumble. Nice. I think I'm caught up on the super chats. So, thank you, someone with your 3 coffees there. Oh, I don't really feel like covering Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, but they had a kid. They each have kids themselves, children, not baby goats. Megan Fox is that pretty actress woman. Machine Gun Kelly, rapper, right? White. In 2018, I read that his real name is like Colson or something. In 2018, I think he did a chart, but critically critically mixed snub on Eminem. Whatever, man. And he's younger than her. I said that I don't want to talk about her, but I am ending up talking about her. But whatever. They made a girl. He's like 34. Megan Fox, 38. And she was previously married, now divorced, and he has a kid by somebody else. And they got a girl. It's a mess. You guys want to see them? She's pretty. He's handsome. And they made a little girl. That's nice. We wish them well. This is Megan Fox. Pretty, huh? I don't know why they put her in a pink hat. Not to be confused with the Women's March stuff. Pretty striking gal. Born in 86 in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Active from 2001 to present. Married to Brian Austin Green. 4 children. The fourth, I guess, is MGK's Machine Gun Kelly, real name Colson Baker. Oh, his last name is not Colson. I guess it's his first name. That's a cool name, man. Why didn't you keep that? Look how skinny he is. It's like a good kind of skinny, maybe. Hopefully it's not a druggy type of skinny. Look at all those tattoos. Is that Joelle Friday? Just kidding. Joelle's nothing like that. Is that natural blonde hair, Machine Gun Kelly, man? Colson, what's his name? Baker? Was he born where was he born? Houston, Tejas in 1990. 34 years old. And he was partner, terrible, they call it partner with Megan Fox 2020 to 2024. So how are they having a kid? He has 2 children because one by a prior, what did they call it? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, and so they made a baby, and so that made the news. Because he's kind of like a rough around the edges person, right? He was kicked out by his father after high school. So I like this guy. I don't know anything about him. But they had a little baby girl. Welcomed their first child together. Baby girl. Elon Musk had a baby. Another one. By that, not a Christian. Well, I don't know if she's Christian. Gal. Yeah, he had a daughter by a previous relationship with some gal, Emma Cannon, whoever that is. Relationship with them, it's been on and off. I don't know. There's no real point to this other than I guess it's the part of the continued downfall. Are they representative of the whites? Is she white? He's kind of white, but he's sort of Igor way. Right? As Maze, I made her stop calling her fellow callers that. But they posted it on their IG, all shameless. The degrading of society. She's finally here, our little celestial seed. Celestial city was, and then all these weird things. Should we find the IG posts? I don't know. Instagram. What is this? There's Joel Friday's IG. He's active on IG. That's why. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I go on Joel Friday TV, IG. Meg. She's the one who posted it, right? Tell me Machine Gun Kelly didn't post it. And Kelly, I guess, is that an Irish name? Oh, no. I went to the wrong thing. Oh, Lord. Is that her? What? Okay. Nasty. I vaguely remember that. We showed that before. Cover your eyes anytime Hake goes to IG, kids. I guess it was posted to a story or something and it's not up anymore. I don't know. What a mess. I told you guys I didn't want to cover this. China has a glacier. Did you know? MGK has a half black kid as well, Hake. Look that one up, bud. He would. I don't care. Black girls are, well, no, I disavow. I won't say that. I was going to say black girls are pretty sometimes. And, you know, it's his culture. Those Irish. Kelly being an Irish name, I don't know if Machine Gun Kelly is Irish at all. And I didn't check the early life, and it's too late. It's too late. Glacier. China. It's glacier. Has shrunk. I think that's proper English. You know, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's a movie from the 90s or so, or maybe late 80s, but I think 90s. It should have been, according to my grandma, Honey, I Shrank the Kids. But has shrunk might be correct. Shrink, shrank, shrunk. I shrink. I shrank. I have shrunk. Since 1960, 26% since 1960 due to rapid global warming. I say it incredulously, but I believe it for the sake of the channel. With 7,000 small glaciers disappearing completely. It's going to bother me if I don't.
Glacier. Glacier. Glacier.
Glacier. Okay, so let's hear it in British. Oh, see?
Glacier.
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 Glacier. Let's hear it slow. I like it slow. Or slowly? Whatever.
Glacier.
Glacier. It's funny that they put the Do they ever have an R sound? Hello? No.
Glacier.
Glacier. Shout out to the English. So, it shrank 1960 due to rapid global warming. I'm gonna get dinged. They're gonna ask for money. I didn't know that China had a glacier. Glacier. How Philistine does that sound compared to glacier? Glacier. China's glacier area shrinks by 26% over 6 decades. That's a lot of decades, but it's a lot of shrinkage. I don't like the word shrinkage. It doesn't sound right. Due to global warming. Be quiet, commie nonsense network. By way of far-left extremist Reuters. Here's a picture of it. As I scroll up, I'm going to be asked for... Okay, so far we're okay. Will you look at that? It's actually not that pretty for my taste, but it's still sort of fascinating. It's nature. As I scroll down, it's going to... Okay, melt water from the Laohugo number 12 glacier follows through the Kilian Mountains in Gansu. I'm just pronouncing it any way I want. Province in China. September of 2020. So it shrunk by 26% since 1960 due to rapid global warming, with 7,000 small glaciers disappearing completely and glacial retreat intensifying. Glacier retreat intensifies in recent years per official data, which I believe. Around the globe, glaciers around the globe disappearing faster than ever. How do they know that it's ever? How do they know that it's ever? Maybe they know. And maybe I don't want to know the long explanation of how they know. Maybe if there's a short explanation, I might not mind knowing how they know that it's ever. Anyway, with the largest glacial mass loss on record taking place the last 3 years per UNESCO. UNESCO. Oh, well, that's UN stuff. UN, not the best. But some of their information is factual. As the important water towers continue to shrink, less availability of fresh water expected to contribute to greater competition for water resources, environmental groups have warned. Also not trustworthy, many environmental groups. But they do have some good info, I would imagine. Not all environmentalists are equally evil and shrill, female-minded people, you know? But that many are. Glacier retreat also poses new disaster risks. So they say flooding or I don't know, whatever. Not that interested. But that's the news. I didn't know that they had a glacier. I guess it makes sense. It's a big thing. You know? Hake the butcher. That's funny. What's up, Lord Spike Protein? Yeah, I don't care. Let me get to Michael in Canada. I just have a few minutes here. Michael, good to hear from you. What's up? Thanks for calling.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. It's good to hear from you.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, hey, you asked about the glacier.
Yeah.
Glacier.
Uh-huh.
In French is glacier.
Yeah.
How they know it's melting or shrinking faster than ever. And I think the short answer for that is that they took samples from the glacier with tubes, and they can see the patterns in the snow or in the ice. Sorry.
Okay, that may be.
And you said a French word earlier.
Yeah.
Was it malveillance?
Yeah, maybe. In English, we pronounce it malfeasance, I think.
Yeah. Doesn't sound right.
M-A-L-F as in Frank, E-A-S, maybe A-N-C-E, something like that.
Whatever. It's a French word.
Yeah.
And we say it malveillance.
And it has to do with bad or wrong activity.
Bad behavior.
Okay. Especially
and,
is it especially on a part of a politician?
No, you can say that for everything, you know, like
okay.
he did something, it wasn't for, it's bad intention.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know what's funny? You asked me last time about the
malfeasance.
Sorry. Yeah.
What the?
That was a Google pronunciation of
malfeasance.
Evil Google.
Malfeasance. But anyway, last time what?
You asked me about the S sound.
Yeah.
In French. You know, we got a perfect example right there that the C in in the super chat he write to incompetence.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a French word too, and it's incompétence. And the last C of the word is spelled like S, but it's a C.
Okay.
And C, it's a ka, like a K.
Right.
But, you know, so that's all I wanted to say, man.
Right on. Thank you for the call.
Now you understand French.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good weekend to you.
Hey, you too, man.
All right.
Have a blessed day.
You as well, man.
To everybody.
Hey.
I'm out.
All right. Take care. It's Fob Friday, guys. Where am I? Oh, yeah. Heck yes. I think I'll end on time this time. Jackie, or I think it's Andy Lau.
走到哪里 都有人很想你，只是可惜，越看就越有距离。我开始怀疑，少了什么东西，是你的灵魂，还是我太想你？梦一开始，音乐是在动机，他们故意从不和我谈到你，我觉得犹豫，用心灵感应你，而你的身影被吹散北风里。你的人忽远忽近，忽冒忽明，忽暗忽走，忽然牵住我的手，我的心有喜有悲，有泪有痛，有麻有冷，有被情感左右，没有人可以像你，在我的感觉里。于是我闭上了双眼，就只能看见你。
Isn't this nice? I've played it many times. It's so good. I'm on the keys.
梦一开始，音乐是在动机，他们故意从不和我谈到你，我觉得犹豫，用心灵感应你，而你的身影被吹散北风里。
1994。
忽远忽近，忽冒忽明，忽暗忽走，忽然牵住我的手。
Mandarin Pop.
我的心有喜有悲，有泪有痛，有麻有冷，有被情感左右，没有人可以像你，在我的感觉里。于是我闭上了双眼，就只能看见你。你独占我的忧，你收藏我的愁。我见过千万人，像你的发，像你的眼，却不是你的脸。你的人忽远忽近，忽冒忽明，忽暗忽走，忽然牵住我的手，我的心有喜有悲，有泪有痛，有麻有冷，有被情感左右，没有人可以像你，在我的感觉里。于是我闭上了双眼，就只能看见你。啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦没有人可以像你，在我的感觉里。于是我闭上了双眼，就只能看见你。
No one can be like you. That's the name of the song. Oh, cringe. I'm kidding. Come on, Simba. Let's go home. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that wonderful, beautiful, glorious music. I'm going to get out of here so that we can set the fallen state to get going here. Bye, guys. Take care. Thanks. I had fun. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Bye.